We're live. Hey, everybody. Oh, look, 2 people in already. Welcome to Thursday night hockey talk. Thursday night live stream. Yeah, I'm not calling it hockey talk. Thursday night live stream. Hey, welcome, everybody. Oh, someone left right away. Look how quickly. I don't know who's here. Oh, you're back? Okay, cool. So there's stuff to talk about, I guess. I don't know. Not a ton. We're waiting on news from the NHL to let us know what's happening with the draft or the season starting up. My guess is we're going to get probably, I think next Monday. That's my guess. I think by Monday, maybe tomorrow, but I think by Monday we'll hear something from the NHL. I don't know if you watched my video, the news of the day. I had a little bit in there about how the NHL seems to be, I guess, pushing this idea for the June draft, not in a way of what do you guys think? And let's work it out and blah, blah, blah. It's more like this is what we're going to be doing, and you guys should be prepared for it. So, hey, NHL, how's it going, buddy? How long am I going to be on for tonight? Usually plan for an hour, and then sometimes I go an hour and a half, an hour and 40. It's hard to tell exactly, depending on how the people are and how many questions I get and how long it takes to. Yeah, it could be an hour and a half. So, yeah, minimum an hour. I did an hour and 40 last time. Yeah, so you never know. It all depends. Hey, Jeff, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for coming in. Wow, are there nine people in here? And only 2 are talking to me. Okay, so there's been some stuff, I guess, going on, with the draft. It looks like we're going to be doing a draft. I'll say this. I think if they announce the draft, you can pretty much guarantee, if they haven't announced at the same time that, yeah, the season's going to start and blah, 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 it's not going to be long after they're going to announce. Because why do the draft early like this and with all the uncertainty and not be sure you're going to be having the rest of the season go on? That's my opinion. I think it'll signal that. So, but it looks like we're going to have a very early June draft within the next month. They said tentatively June 5th, so I don't know how that is. NHL, so you watched my video. Thoughts on Norlinder? It's not that I have a ton of thoughts, and I haven't seen a lot. The only thing is, every time I see something about Norlinder from scouts or from people in the know, it's always how good he is, how he's going to be a Norris Trophy winner, how he great, all this. So I think this kid's a real deal, and yeah, I want to hang on to him. For me, he's a untouchable just because of that. I would hate for him to turn out to be like winning a Norris Trophy in 5, 6, 7 years, and we traded him away. It kind of makes me think of like Ryan McDonough. Stop it, Peanut. Stop it. I'm on camera. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on him, really. Hey, Nolan, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for coming in. Also playing video games with you, bro. No problem. Hey, that's fine. Listen, a lot of people. Well, I say a lot of people. Some people just listen and they don't interact. So that's cool. It's cool. Hopefully, we'll entertain you. I think they should have one game wild card, one wild card game for all the mathematical eligible teams, and just start the playoffs. They might end up with that. I mean, who knows? It's definitely not a guarantee that the season will finish out. I would think the playoffs are going to get done. If they're going to play, the playoffs are definitely going to. If they're going to play, the playoffs are getting done, and it depends how much time they have, or could be other things that I'm not even thinking about that could decide how they do it. But I kind of agree with you. Like this is why I was saying maybe have one of those best 2 out of 3s for all the teams that. With all the wild card teams and the teams that could have been wild card teams like that, and then those guys get the wild cards, and you start something like that. Anyway, I don't know how many teams you have, like how many spots you'd have open for these what would you call them, preliminary playoff series. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they do. I have a feeling it'll be kind of as close to normal as possible, and they're going to get as many games in as they can. They need the money from the TV. What's my favorite underrated prospect for the Habs? But you're talking about underrated prospect. Kind of, I'm going to say weirdly, Jake Evans, I think. He's still a prospect because he hasn't officially made the team and played a full season. And I kind of like the kid. I like he's got what is the word I'm looking for? He kind of looks like he might have some of that Gallagher drive. And if he has any of that, I like this kid. So I think him, and then number 2 for underrated, and he's like a distant prospect, but I've talked about him before, and that's Raphael Harvey-Pinard. Another kid, I don't know, something about him I like. I think he's going to be one of those, like you say, underrated prospects that make it and do well. So that's my 2 underrated prospects. One is already here, and one is going to be a few years away. Wolf Beans the Third. I love that name. Cool name, buddy. Welcome in. Thanks for coming in. I've been needing to get this off my chest. Charlie Lindgren can be that backup. We still have him for one more year, if I'm not mistaken, and that can be the time to prove himself. Look, I'm not saying he's not. He's still young enough to, and he's a goalie, so he can have a turnaround season anytime. I think they'll give him the opportunity in camp, but all I said was I don't think he's shown that he is that guy yet. And I did say he's get an opportunity. And it all depends. Look, they might think that he doesn't, and maybe they'll trade him somewhere where they'll give him an opportunity if they go after and acquire one of those vets. Obviously, Halak's off the table, but yeah, I think they're going to give him an opportunity in camp if they don't trade him. But you're right. He's still got another year at a really good cap hit. And when you think that the cap won't go up next season. I can't see it going up. So at very best, it's going to stay at 81.5, which is really good for Montreal because they're not close to the cap. And having a backup goalie that's $700,000, I think that how can you get better than that? So they'll give him an opportunity. He hasn't shown that he's got it yet. To me, that's all. Thanks for that Nova Scotia emblem in the thumbnail. Been a really rough couple of days here. Yeah, I know, buddy. I know. Yeah, listen, that thing's been on most of my thumbnails. Got to show support. We're all Canadians, aren't we? It's been tough there with those. I don't know what we call them, soldiers. The Army, the helicopter crash. I know, especially if you're from there, and if you're a soldier, if you're in the Army, if you're in the Navy, it makes it kind of personal. So I know it's really tough. It's not been a great year so far. It's not been a great year. From Jeff, play in games like the NCAA basketball tournament. I must have missed something that he's in. You mean play like the March Madness, like with brackets? Yeah, I mean they could do something like that. I imagine they're thinking about more like Bettman, when he was interviewed with Ron McLean, he said that's just one of the models that they're using. He was talking about, and I imagine that's probably the first go-to if they could. But they must have a lot of other ways that they could do it if they have to. And look, if they're having the draft before they finish the season, they're willing to do things differently this year. That's for sure. Who do I think could be traded during the summer for the Habs? Well, look, honestly, I think if you and you watched the video, so I think anybody on that list that I put up for the not untouchable that was on that list, and then any of the other guys below that, like Paul Byron, who wasn't on the list, but I mean, guys like that can be traded because they're not necessarily like Byron might be I like Byron, but they're not necessarily consistent game breakers, right? Where they're going and point producers and all that. So any of those guys can go because you could, if you can improve your team. But I think anybody on that list, I don't think Gallagher's going to be traded. I don't think Price is going to be traded. But I'm just saying, for those guys, if the right deal comes along, that, it could happen. And okay, I see Jeff on the bottom put Domi. Domi, first of all, Domi needs to be signed. So I don't know if that interferes with trading him or not, but I think Domi's a possibility. If the right player is offered to them, I could see them trading Domi. As much as I don't want to see it happen, I don't think he's an untouchable. At least not until he finds consistency in his game and stops with some of those penalties he takes. If he can stop those two things, consistency and stop taking sometimes stupid penalties because he's upset or his temper gets to him, that'll make a big difference with this guy. But up until then, he's tradable. He definitely is. Another reason he's tradable this year too is, think about it. He needs to be signed to. He's an RFA. So say you trade him as he's an RFA. You haven't renegotiated or negotiated a contract. The other team knows that they can get this guy and sign him to a lot less than they might have had to pay for him before the season because of the down kind of season he had. So he may be tradable just that way too. I don't know, but I don't think he's untouchable. Jeff saying Thomas Greiss. Well, he is definitely a possibility. I've heard more talk about him recently. I just don't know. I don't know about Greiss, but if they did sign Greiss, first of all, I think he'd be a little too expensive. I think a little bit more than you want to pay. I don't really think you want to go much above $2.5 million for a goalie. So, but Greiss is definitely an acceptable backup here, without a doubt. I just think Greiss might want more games than he might get here, especially if Price doesn't get injured. I don't know if he get enough games here. I hope we have a super good off season. Do you think we'll make any big moves? I think he'll attempt to make some big moves. Whether he'll land anybody or not, it's hard to tell. With UFAs, they don't seem to want to come here. And I've said it before that until Montreal starts winning on a consistent basis, it's harder to get UFAs to come here than ever. So when you're looking at a Taylor Hall, I doubt it, So I don't think so. The lower UFAs you might get, but they're not game changers. So if you're looking for game changers, it's why I put in the trades. I really like Alex Killorn from Tampa Bay. I think he makes a big difference here. Is he an elite scorer? No, but he brings you that extra scoring on the wing. I think he'll score. He'll be in a bigger role here. And I think we'll see a little more from him than he's shown in Tampa. So I like that. The Anthony Manta trade, if we could only do that, get Anthony Manta, take Abdelkader at the same time, and blah, blah, blah. You get a guy like Manta here, that's kind of almost your elite scoring that you need. And you would do something like that, that's a big trade. Will we be able to? I don't know, even on the trade market, but I think it might even be more likely because it seems like free agents don't want to come here. We always hear about guys coming here, and they never do. They never do. Not in a long time. It's rare that you see, oh, this guy's going to come here, and we get him. We usually get someone else, whatever, but it's rare that the guys that are rumored, the big names, they don't come here. We're not winning. When we win, yeah. Leafs will win the cup next year. Yeah. Look, it's not written in stone. I wasn't happy with that he signed Lettinen. I was not happy, especially the day before. Okay, like he comes out, he's a free agent. It's probably the day before I did the video, and then I do the video that they should go after. Next day, I wake up in the morning, he's signed by the Leafs. The only thing is, look, that's on paper. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like on paper, the Leafs are definitely a contender, but it doesn't always work out that way. And the Leafs have a way of blowing it. So, but yeah, I think on paper, the Leafs really got better with that, with Lettinen. But he's unproven here. So that's the thing. He's got it. We got to see how he plays here. If he's as good as we think he might be, the Leafs pick themselves up a really good defenseman, I think. But I don't know if he's defensive enough. And the Leafs need like a defensive defenseman, don't they? Like a good top four defensive defenseman. I don't know if he fits that bill. We'll see. I don't think so, John. Maybe we'll see, but they're cursed. Okay, I'm not. Maybe that's not for me. They always find a way to choke, so I don't think. Oh, talking about to John. Yeah, well, that's true. Excuse me, that's true too. They always find a way to choke. They do, though. Yeah, I mean that's not because I'm not a Leafs fan. They do. I don't know if this guy changes that, but on paper, they're definitely a contender. Jeff, I know you would trade Domi. I know. I have no. You trade anybody. I know you were going to have a lot probably to say about my list of untouchables, but those are guys for me. They're for me, and I gave my reasons why I think they're untouchables, and guys that people might think were untouchables, like Galley and Price, and why they're not really untouchables. Not that I want to see them go, a couple of them at least, and there's a few that, listen, honestly, those are the kind of guys you might have to send away to get the improvements that are needed. It was a fun video to do. I wasn't sure how that would come off, but I actually had fun filming that. I don't know if that came out that I was having fun. Especially with the untouchables. That was I enjoyed that. I don't know why, but I did. I enjoyed that. Funny thing was, before, like, I was doing the boards, and I had like 4 on the touch that yes you could. No, there was the yes side, they're untouchables, and the no side, they're not untouchables. I had only 4 guys, and I was sitting there and getting ready to film, and then I thought of one more. Oh yeah, and oh yeah. But then the rest of the guys, like there's Lehkonen, who I don't want to see go either. But I mean, those are the tradable guys. So I didn't put them up on the board because I think those kind of guys are never untouchables. Let me see now. Nolan saying kind of what I just said. I don't want to trade Domi. Okay, wait. I want to say NHL. Yeah, I think you're right there, NHL. I think for every team, though, considering what's going on and everything, the key to the Habs season, and I think, honestly, I think every team's season is, if you sign anyone, be careful with the term and the dollars. I think dollars are going to be a thing for a couple of seasons, and term is going to be something right now. And the term might even be on the player side, that they might not really want long term. I could see free agents, UFAs right now saying, even RFAs saying, I'll sign for 2 years. Like I could see Taylor Hall saying, 2 years, and then we'll go from there, and taking less money and then cashing in 2 years. So I could see some of these bigger free agents taking shorter term in their this next UFA period, because it's going to be very unknown what the cap's going to be, what's going to happen. Are they going to be playing in front of fans? Even nothing's going to be known about that. So yeah. What is the value of Artturi Lehkonen? That's a good question. I think Artturi Lehkonen has a lot of value, and if you're smart and you pick him up, yeah, he has still potential for improving his offense, but he brings in just enough offense that his two-way play, his on the other side of the puck, is very valuable. I like Lehkonen a lot. I don't know what you get back. If you're going to ask me, who do you think is equal value to Lehkonen? I don't know if I'm capable of answering that in a knowledgeable way. But I can tell you that Lehkonen is a good player, and I would like to have him stay here. Jeff, I kind of agree with you. I think we have to make a big move, Jeff says. He says, get Buffalo on the phone. Was it you saying get half of Buffalo and bring them here and give them? Yeah. Kotkaniemi in a package for Jack Eichel. Okay, but listen, what are you going to pay for Jack Eichel? It's Kotkaniemi, Paling, all kinds of players. No, I don't know that you can. To get one player back, you can't make 5 holes on your team to get one player back. As good as Jack Eichel is, that's why those guys don't move very often, because they're too expensive. But I don't disagree with you. I think there needs to be a big move. I said no, like at the beginning of the season, I wasn't thinking like this, but I think they do need to improve that offense. Yeah, the defense, we know that. The backup goalie, we know. But the offense, I thought was okay. But you know what? It might not be for a couple of seasons yet. And I think if we can bring in anywhere from like a Alex Killorn, who's not an elite scorer, but he's a good solid scorer already, and I think he'll be a little bit better if he comes here. Or a guy like Mantha or someone like that. Bring in something from really good to elite scoring, and it's going to make a huge difference. And yeah, so I think they need to. I think I agree. They need to make some kind of a move, you know, some kind of a move. Look, Tampa Bay, I think they have cap issues, which is why Killorn's going to have to be moved probably. Or someone like him. He's got, I think 2 or 3 years, I forget how many years left on his contract, over $4 million. He's the right guy to move probably out of that team. And you can get him probably for picks and prospects. And I think it's worth it for what he'll probably provide here, you know, because I don't think you can trade him, and I don't think they take Drouin, but like I don't think you can trade a player back to Tampa that's making any kind of money because they can't afford it. They're going to only get rid of Killorn because it's they got to make cap space, especially if the cap doesn't go up. That's one of the teams, you know, that they're up. Vegas. There's a bunch of teams that are up against it. Whoops. Bergie hasn't had a very good track record when it comes to free agents. He's made good signings, Kovalchuk, Radulov, Sherrod. But other than those few, he has yet to make a truly great signing. Well, it's because of what I just said, Jeff. It's not, I don't totally blame him. It's been a long time that Montreal's had a lot of trouble to sign free agents. They don't want to come here. Unless we're winning, they don't want to come here. And we're at that point now, so we got to start winning, and we'll start being able to sign free agents. I don't put the blame on him for that necessarily, because I think he makes a lot of other good moves, and he can sign the lesser, like the next level of free agent. Just that those elite guys don't want to come here, because when they move like that, they want to go to teams that they can win a cup, possibly, you know, contenders. And we're not that right now. Eichel's too valuable to the Sabres. That's why I don't know what you'd have to pay to get an Eichel. I don't see it. NHL, hey, see you later, buddy. Have a great night. Thanks for coming in. I always appreciate it. She's one of my loyalist subscribers is NHL Hockey News. Jeff Head, I was watching Spitting Chicklets, and they had numbers about how much after the second overall pick, the percentage of success drops. 60% in the first round. No, I know. If you know, this happens to be a really good draft. So I think at 8, Montreal still is going to get a really good player. But once you get past, depending on the draft, sometimes once you get past number 2, you don't really have. It drops big time. But usually the top 5 are pretty good, and then it drops, and then you get to 10, and it drops. And yeah, it's amazing how, like, by the end of the first round, the percentage of those players that make the NHL or are good to elite players in the NHL are really small compared to the first couple. How smart was Aho to force a deal last year? It worked out perfectly for him with all this uncertainty. When you look at it now, I mean, he didn't know that, but kind of did, right? He's got his money. He doesn't have to worry. Yeah, it worked out well for him. Not that I really care. Wolf Bean. Whoa. I'm scrolling. Wolf Bean's third. I like the prospect Marco Rossi. He's a great playmaker who knows how to find a teammate stick in hard situations. And funny, I think tomorrow I'm gonna. I don't know if I'll have it out tomorrow, but I'm going to start working on the second of my draft prospects videos, and Marco Rossi's going to be in that. He's going to be. It's going to Marco Rossi, Cole Perfetti, and I haven't decided on the third, so that'll be a surprise. But it's going to have Marco Rossi and Cole Perfetti. in that one. Munib, how's it going, buddy? Hey, Munib, how's it going? I haven't seen you in a bit. They don't have to only make one move. No, well, they got to get that defenseman, and they got to get a backup goalie. But I understand what you're saying. They can make bigger changes to the team. I'm talking about not really changing not the scope, I don't want to say the core, but like maybe that is maybe not really changing up the core. You're kind of I've seen your comments, and you're kind of talking about moving some of those core players. I don't see that happening, but you're right. They don't have to make only the one move. The thing is, it's really hard making those kind of moves. Getting those free agents sometimes. When the other teams know Montreal's got to make those deals, it's hard for them to make deals, and he's a bit stingy, Bergevin, that way. So you're right, though. They don't have to only make one, but I'd like to see them fill that hole up front on the defense and for the backup goalie. Wolverine, hey buddy, how's it going? How you hanging in there? Yeah, listen, I don't know if everybody remembers Wolverine's mom. They weren't sure if she might have had COVID, so it turns out she does. And so we're thinking about you, buddy. I wasn't sure if you were gonna come in, so but yeah, I hope things are okay. I hope you're doing okay, because it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, buddy. But listen, maybe we can entertain you a little bit, take your mind off of things for now, and it always helps a little bit if you can just get your mind away from it for a while. John, Toronto Maple Leaf defense sucks. Their defense does suck. I think that's one of the reasons why Lettinen wanted to go to Toronto, because I think it's obvious he wanted to go to Toronto. Otherwise, he would have remained a free agent for a little longer than he did. It didn't last long, and he was signed by Toronto because he sees an opportunity there. And remember, it's a one-year ELC. He sees an opportunity to get a lot of ice time and to prove himself and really set himself up for a nice contract after next season. So I think he chose Toronto for that reason, because their defense is not it's pretty good offensively, but not on the defensive side. So that's why I don't know if he's that defenseman, but maybe he thinks he is. Oh wow, that jumped. I'm trying not to miss anything, guys. MB knows how to build a supporting cast, but he needs to get a player to support. Well, this is it. He needs to get that big. He needs now to get a big. It doesn't have to be an elite scorer, but it has to be a good, solid scorer. Not a guy that's iffy. Maybe he'll get 40 points. No, you need a guy that you know is going to come in and get you that 55, maybe 60 points. 50 at least. Today's game, 50 is pretty damn good. So yeah, he has to hit a home run. I think he really does. He really kind of needs to hit a home run this summer in more ways than one. Like I said, that's that forward, defenseman, and a goalie. And I think he needs to hit on all three. I really hope we have a lucky draft lottery. Depends on, we don't know. Are they going to change how? Because they're saying it's only one winner can only move up 4. It'll be good. Look, if Montreal can get to 4th, I'd love that. So yeah, I'd like to see them win. But it's going to be harder because it's only going to be one winner. Which defense is worse, Habs or Leafs? Feel free to reply with your opinion. No, that's a good point, Jeff. That's a good point. That Habs have some work to do on their defense. There's no doubt. They have some work to do on their defense. And maybe in the offseason they're going to do that. Listen, I put Petrie up there as not an untouchable. Petrie could be moved, and you can make some big changes in there. So we'll see how that goes. Anthony Manta would be awesome, Rick. He's got great size too. Yeah, well, that's, he's a Quebec player. He hits on a lot. And in no particular order. He's a Quebec player. He's got size. He's not a hugely physical player, but he can play physically. And he can score. He can put up the points. And so he hits on Well, that was 4, so all 4 cylinders. So yeah, that would be something if we can, like, that's really hitting it out of the ballpark. If he can land an Anthony Mantha, that would be great. Anyway, I'd like to see it. And it's funny because I put that out in one of my trade proposal thing there, and then now they're talking about offer sheeting him, which I don't like the offer sheet part. I'd rather go the trade route because I think the trade route would work better than an offer sheet in a lot of ways. You don't have a pissed off other team. We already got a Carolina team that's pissed at us for an offer sheet. And, I think you don't have to give up too much necessarily to Detroit if you can take Abdelkader off their hands. Especially, listen, if the cap stays at $81.5 million, if that happens, they're probably not going to have these buyouts. What do they call them again? Complicity buyouts, whatever they call them. It's probably not going to happen, which means that Detroit would probably really like someone to take Abdelkader off their hands. And Mantha is an RFA, and they have a lot of RFAs and UFAs to sign. And he's not going to be cheap. He's going to want money. So even if we get him, he's not going to be cheap. But, how do you turn that down if you can make that deal? And you can offset acquiring Mantha by, trading Kulak, there's a few guys you could trade away to make room if you felt that was necessary. But Mantha would be great here. I think Mantha would be great here. Going to reply to my own statement and say the Habs. It's possible. It's possible because they don't have as much offensive capability, I think, as the Leafs. But I don't think the Leafs have a very good defensive core. I think their defensive capabilities are not their strong point. So I just think they can put out a lot more points from the back end than Montreal can, and that makes them a little better. But they're not that different. I mean, overall, they're about the same. It's one has a little of this, one has a little of that. They're a little different, but talent level is about the same. RFAs will be more willing to sign because of Aho and uncertainty this year. Well, RFAs, yes. Because look, an RFA, he doesn't have much choice, right? If you don't want to get rid of him and he doesn't want to sign, he might have to sit out, which maybe that's what they want to do. But you're right. RFAs have probably are going to be a little more willing to sign. Listen, UFAs probably not going to get what they want this year. I don't think it's going to be a good year for UFAs for their part, right? I don't know. It's going to take a couple of years, so I don't know what's going to go on with that. I really don't. It's like it's an unknown. It's the wild, wild west. We don't know what's gonna be till we get in there and they start making deals, and we'll see what's going on. If Cale Fleury can somewhat master his slap shot, he could be a mini Shea Weber for the future after he's gone. If we keep Fleury. Well, listen, I think Fleury showed pretty good. I like his checking ability. You're right. He could be a bit of a smaller Shea Weber that probably hits almost as hard as him. But you're right. He needs to put out a little bit more offense and a little bit more seasoning. But I think sometime next year he's got a shot. But you're right. With some of the guys coming in on defense, we might, Fleury could be a guy that could be moved. I could see that. Fleury could be a guy that could be moved. Let's see. Whoa, I don't know why I scroll and it's way too far. Okay, Wolverine, I'm sorry, I've been scrolling. I see you wrote, you won't be here long, but I was going to message you on Twitter how to get yourself tested. Well, of course you did. No, of course you did. You should also be keeping yourself isolated. So I don't know if you're still here, but listen, communicate with me on Twitter anytime. That's not a problem. And listen, if you need some entertainment, just to get away from all of what's going on, come into the live stream anytime, obviously, and hopefully we can keep you entertained. But anytime you need to talk, and I'm available, message me on Twitter, and we can chat there, no problem. And all the best. Listen, my thoughts are with you, and all the best, buddy. Seriously, it's not easy. This cannot be. I can't imagine it yet. Knock wood. I don't have to go through that, but from what I've heard, it's not fun for the people, the family either, worrying about their loved one who has it. I take the Leafs. That's from Fedge. The Leafs D over ours. Ours doesn't do anything that good. Average at best. At least the Leafs have offensive guys. Yeah, which is what I said. Their offense is better. So yeah, I mean at this point, if you look at it that way, I take Morgan Riley definitely. But they're Leafs, so some of them I don't really like just on that basis. But yeah, I think they have a better defense overall on the offensive side, but I don't think defensively they're any better than us. Notch hates you too. Habs suck. Okay, that's one strike. Habs need to trade some picks to move up or to get a top player. They can only have 50 contracts. Yes, actually, that could be a bit of a problem when they. I should have mentioned that, I think, in my my video, because I was talking about how they could maybe use some of those prospects and stuff. At least you do that to get to move around in the draft. But yeah, if they draft all their 14 picks, that'll give them, I think, 35 players in the pipeline in the last 3 seasons. That's a lot. You're only supposed to have, I think you're only allowed 50 contracts. So some of the guys won't even be able to be signed. So, you know, they need to do some stuff with those picks. I wanted to do a video about how the draft will actually be affecting Montreal, because it kind of puts them, it screws up their plans. They had I'm sure they had a lot of plans to make a couple of deals before the draft with their picks that they have, and, you know, do some things. And by it not happening here and happening virtually and then before the end of the season, it kind of takes the wind out of their sails going into the draft. But maybe it opens up, like I said about Puljujarvi, if you're interested in getting a Puljujarvi, it might open up a window because of the amount of picks that Montreal has. They'll be one of the teams that'll be able to make some of these deals at the draft because they have enough picks and prospects to make the deals. Not every team has that. So, you know, it's like yin yang. It's one or the other. So what happened if Mikko Lehtinen doesn't work out with the Leafs? Well, he's only on a 1-year ELC. So I don't know if he's a restricted free agent after that. Honestly, I don't know what happens with that because of his age. I don't think he's restricted. So he just has the ELC for the 1 year, and I think he'd be UFA. They trade him at the deadline, and he moves on to somewhere else. What else are you going to do? And listen, it's costing them under $1 million for the season. It's a no-brainer. The only thing is Toronto has no money, so I don't know what they're going to do to make room for that $1 million, but they literally have no money, so I don't know what's going to on the cap. They have no cap space, so I don't know what's happening with that. I think because of what's going on right now, they're having a bit of a what do they call it? You know, like in the off season, they can go 10% over the cap with players signed, and then they got to work it out by the time the season starts. They're giving them that, I think, a little bit right now, so they can have. And then they're going to have to make a move. I don't know what they're going to do. Wait a second. Oh, damn. Wolverine. I'm sorry, buddy. Okay, everybody. I don't know if he's still in the room. I'm really sorry. I didn't read it till now. Wolverine's got coronavirus. Hey, buddy, listen. You're young, though, so I think you're going to be okay. Don't let stress of it, don't let that affect you too much, because that can make it worse. So you got to try to, you're young. I know you're worried about your mom, but your mom's young, too. She's younger than me by a good bit. So you've got that working for you. But, damn, I didn't read that till now. Listen, buddy, I don't know what to say. If you need to talk, like I said, on Twitter, as long as I'm there, I will definitely, we can chat. And oh boy, but listen, a lot of people get over it, so it's not doesn't mean you have it. That's it. And the reason I'm worried about it is I've got a lot of underlying things that as you can know with the cough, that I don't. So if you're young and healthy, more than likely, like you're fine. It's not going to be pleasant, but yeah. So thoughts are with you. I can't pray for you because I don't pray. I don't believe in that. But please, everybody, I don't know what to say, but I'm thinking about you. Seriously, dude. Yeah, you got to keep yourself isolated. You got to. You got to be quarantined for 14 days, and if all goes well, yeah, you'll be sick. But in 14 days, you should be starting to feel better. Yeah, and the only good news out of that is once you get over it, you should be immune for a little while, and that's the one good thing. Oh, you're the first subscriber that I know of that has it. I'm really sorry about that, buddy. That's really bad. Bad to hear, you know. Like I said, you're young though. You should be okay. And that's positive vibes for that, you know. So everybody send Wolverine some positive vibes for hopefully, you know, like a mild case. Because mild, it's not, apparently not horrible when it's mild. So, whew. Gets worse and worse. I'm telling you. Wolverine, anytime, buddy. Anytime. You got my support, my love, and all that. Because, yeah, I feel for you, man. I do. I really do. But like I said, you're young. You're young. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You got to have that mindset. Don't stress on it. Stress is probably one of the worst freaking things you can do about anything. And it's no good for your health. And if you have something, it's not going to help you recover. So try not to stress. Try not to stress. There's a lot of people. Look, a lot of people have recovered had good and bad experiences with it. And I mean, good wasn't that, you know, they didn't have too much trouble. So at your age, I'm hoping for the best. You know, something you can do while you're still feeling relatively good and you're stuck at home. You got your channel going. Make videos. When I'm feeling down and I'm worried about stuff like that, I start working and time passes and I'm not stressing on those things for that, at least for that amount of time. So I would do that. Start working on videos. Get your mind off it as much as you can, because there's nothing you can do to change it. Nothing you can do to change the fact that you have it and you've got to recover. So just try to not stress. So that's my advice to you. Is try to put some energy into some work while you're feeling, you know, when you're not feeling well, I get it. But if you're still feeling good, yeah, it's the best thing you can do. Might even help you get through it a little easier by working a little bit. Even if you're working to prepare videos for when you're recovered and you're feeling better, start to work and it'll help you. I know it sounds weird and you might not feel like it, but it'll help. I know, because it helps me when I'm there's times when I can't work because it's different things wrong, but when I'm stressed about things, I start to work and it helps. Robert Legault, Pierre-Luc Dubois, please. On a trade, I doubt you're going to get Dubois from Columbus. I really doubt that. Morgan Riley is better than anyone we have. I won't argue that. Yeah, I wouldn't really argue that. That's for sure. Tatar and Petrie will perform better for us than anyone else, so why would we even consider trading them? I'm going to agree with you on Tatar. I think Tatar probably doesn't do this good almost anywhere else. Not to say there's not other teams that he would fit in, but he's really, really taken to Montreal, and it shows in his play. Based on that, and still his age, he's still in the middle of his prime, I wouldn't trade him. I don't think he'll break the bank when he wants to resign. I really don't. I would have to think he realizes how good Montreal is for him too. Now Petrie is 32. Petrie, that makes a big difference. I think if you get if you get a kind of offer that, wow, they want Petrie and whatever for that guy, yeah, we got to do it. I think you trade him then. But and I think he'll perform well. I don't think we'll have a downswing from Petrie. But I think Petrie is tradable, unfortunately. As much as I don't really want to see him go, That's for sure. But I mean, he is tradable. It's mostly because of his age. All the best. Oh yeah, sorry, that's for Wolverine. Yeah, all the best. Definitely, definitely. I can't even imagine. I don't want. I want to start talking, so I don't have to think about it too much. But it's yeah. I was hoping none of you guys would get it. I wouldn't get it. None of my family would get it. Knock wood that Wolverine's going to be fine, and his mother too, and anybody else in his family, and mainly knock wood here, and that everybody else out there, please stay safe and healthy. I wish I could do like that pastor, whatever he was in the States, so he blew it away. Be gone, coronavirus. I wish it would work. Hey, Nolan, if you still are here, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Come back anytime I'm on. Please do. You know I always want to see you here in the room. David, they could trade 2020 picks for 2021. They could. They could. I think you could do better than doing that, though. From Fedge, 50 contracts is a big deal. MB is trying to hoard young, mediocre talent. No, I know this 50 contract. You don't want to be wasting draft picks on guys you can't sign into a contract. A segue. Why do you always hang your blanket sideways, Rick? Only because I wanted it in the shot. I wanted it all in the shot, and too long that way. And I probably should do it the other way so that anyway. One of these days I'm going to change it up because I like to change things, but it was because I wanted to get the whole blanket in the shot. And I had it like that in my other room before I moved over to here. And I kind of thought it really made the wall, it changed the wall when I put it up. And I wanted that same effect here. So, and now it's sideways, it makes a nice backdrop for my set. Kind of, I don't know if I put it right side up. I don't know if it's wide enough. It probably is, but yeah, I don't know. And you wouldn't see the Montreal Canadiens part, and the Canadiens logo would be completely covered up, probably with the boards. So it's more of a backdrop. But I'm thinking now I should probably spin it the other way. But it's not a horseshoe. So you know how they say a horseshoe? If you're hanging up a horseshoe, you got to hang it with the not pointed down, right? Up, so that you can collect the good luck. If you do it down, good luck comes out of it. That's how I was told how to do it. So I'm worried about that way. Oh, what do you guys, can you see that? What do you think of my, where is it? There. My fan. It's a clock. It plugs in on a USB. It's only off by 10 minutes, I do believe, right? Yeah, about 9 minutes. How it even knows the time at all, I don't know, because it's only plugged into a plug and a USB charger. So I don't know how it knows if it's Wi-Fi or how, if it is, reads by Wi-Fi. I don't know how it does any of that. But it's close to the right time, and I don't know how to adjust the time on it. There's no way. So, but I like it. I just like it. It'd be better when it's dark. Like if I turn this off, maybe. Let's try this. Well, there, it shows up a little bit better. It's a live stream. I can be in the dark a little bit. Okay, so there's the answer to that question. Would I pay Tatar 7.5 to keep him past his prime? Is the question. Yes, that's a good question. It really is too, because he's got what, 3 years to go for that. I think that's the big problem. Is not really the money. I think the big problem for Tatar is the term. So what are you going to sign him to as far as term? And 7.5 million. I don't think he's going to be 7.5. I see Tatar being more 6.5. I don't know if he gets to 7, but I don't think 7.5. That's my opinion, but I could be wrong. But for me, it's the term. I would sign Tatar literally no longer than 5 years, and preferably 3. If you can sign him to 3, I think that's great term, because it takes him right to the end of his prime. If you can keep him to 4, is not bad. 5 at the most. I hope they don't sign him to 8. No, because 8 is too long. Unless you're getting, if you get him at 6 million for 8 years, if he go that low, I could see it. But I think still 8 is way too long. I wouldn't. No, 5 years at the most for Tatar. But yeah, it's the money and the term. Money, like I said, if it's 3 years, I'd go maybe 6.5, 7 for 3 years because you don't have to worry about paying him when he's past his prime. But I prefer to see it be less, and definitely not longer than 5 years. What do you guys think about that for term for Tatar for his next contract? When 32, I believe prime is 27 to 32. Maybe it's 33, but it's right in there. Like Carey Price next season is on the outside. I think of his prime now. But Tatar still has 2 or 3 seasons to go where he's in his prime. And listen, this guy's getting better. I mean, he's getting better. He's found a fit here in Montreal that is amazing for him. And I think that you kind of need to ride that out. Ryan T, how's Nashville going, buddy? How's it in Nashville? For me, everything's good. For me, Wolverine, not so good. We got Wolverine is one of our subscribers. You might have seen him in here. Wolverine just found out he's got COVID-19, and his mother does too. So all our thoughts are with Wolverine. We're trying to, if he's still listening, we're trying to cheer him up somehow and get his mind off of it right now. And yeah, and by the way, everybody, while I think about it, Wolverine's just restarting his channel, restarting making videos. You might want to head over and check out his channel and give a subscribe. He's got a couple of videos out there, nothing big. He hasn't started big time yet, but I would appreciate it. And it might cheer him up a bit too, if we get him. Guys, head over there, subscribe, and then you can keep a closer watch and see how he's doing and being more in touch with the part of the community. So like I said, Wolverine, head over to his channel. If you do me a favor and subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. I'm sure he will too. And he hasn't asked me to do that, but it's got to cheer him up a little bit, and we need to cheer him up a little bit. Plus, we're going to hopefully see some really good videos that he's about to start making and releasing. He just the other day, he was telling me he's starting up his channel. He's got one video I know on his sweater. He got a Habs shirt, the sweater, and yeah, I saw that. I don't know if I watched another one from there, but I think that one and something. I think I watched 2 from him. Mike, how's it going, buddy? Do I know if that new draft lottery system is confirmed? No, nothing confirmed yet. We're waiting any day now for them to actually confirm it. And they don't have much time. Look, honestly, we're the 7th of May. I don't think they have more than, and I think that's even stretching it, 2 more weeks to decide what they're doing, when the draft is going to be, whether they're starting up or not, and when they're starting up, and how they're doing it, and all that kind of stuff. They need to decide that within the next 2 weeks. So I'm expecting we're supposed to get a decision on the draft any day now. So we'll see how that goes. Where did I get that? Oh, okay, I bypassed something then. I think Dano is now that #1 center you were looking for in KK. No, I don't really agree with you on that. I'll tell you why. He doesn't have the scoring to be a #1 center, like a real #1 center, so I don't think he is. I think he's indispensable because of his two-way play as a center, his face-off ability. He can stay with any of the top lines on the other teams. I don't think you find a guy like Dano very easily. Is he a #1 center? No, he's not. I don't think so. I think Nick Suzuki is, or we're going to find one, and that's going to be the guy that they pick up in the offseason, that home run hit that I said. But I don't think it's Dano. But I think it's Dano right now, yes. Definitely. It is. But he's that good of a hockey player that he can be your #1 center for a little while. But he's not a true #1. 3 years, he will want more money to get under 7. You have to give him 6 years. Yeah, okay, but I'm not as concerned for the money on a 3-year deal as I am on a 6-year deal. So I think if you have him for 3 years, it gives you a lot more flexibility, and you're not stuck with a guy at that kind of money longer than that 3 years. Because I think, look, realistically, he's going to be on the downswing, and when it's over, if you're both still happy with each other, so you sign another contract. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I really like 3 years. But I would be okay with 5, barely, but the money has to be good. But not 6. I think 6, 7, 8 is too much. I think we should learn the lessons. They don't learn the lesson about signing guys for too long. And for some guys, 8 years is great, and 7 years is great, but not for every player. And I wouldn't do that with every player. I would sign a lot less guys to those 6, 7, 8-year contracts. And I kind of have a feeling in the future we're going to see more shorter contracts than longer term contracts. Prime is older for goalies. They usually don't make it until 25ish. You're probably right. It's true, but I know prime for forwards and defensemen is 27 to 32, I do believe. So maybe for a goalie, he's still in his prime up till 34, 35. It's possible. It is possible. Can I link his channel in the description? You know what? I sure can. I'll have to do it, obviously, after the video, after it's done. I'm going to make a note for myself so I don't forget. Sorry, guys. Just hang on a sec. Because, yeah, I think it's a good idea. Look, whenever you guys, if you guys are doing videos, just let me know. I will advertise. Like I will send people your way as much as I can. Okay. As far as I'm definitely not a snob that way. Like, oh, I've got subscribers, I'm not going to help you. No, if any of you guys are doing any channels or whatever, just let me know. I will ask people to go over there, and I will go over and subscribe. I do every time I'm asked. I haven't seen Lax in a while, and it's weird. He asked me many times to go over and subscribe, and I did. I ended up doing it, but he's got no videos, and I haven't heard anything of new videos, and I haven't seen him in a while. So wondering about Lax. Okay, let me get back to you guys. Think we have much of a chance if we make it into a 24-team playoffs? Yeah, I do actually. I do. I think every team has a new chance because think about it. They've had this last 2 months, so all injuries, not all, but most guys are coming back fully healthy, rested, feeling like brand new. And I think that makes a difference if you're going right into a playoffs, because now you're not tired, you're not hurt, you're not recovering from something. Everybody's feeling great to start. I think it makes a big difference. I think Montreal could have an impact on how they do. But then again, think about it now. If that happens and they do well and they do make it into the playoffs, then you're looking at, or in farther into the playoffs, then you're looking at not picking 8th in the draft. Of course, then again, unless they do, like, what do they do for something like that? Say they do this. Here's a scenario. We have the draft in June, right? Montreal picks 8th. They decide on a 2014 playoff. Montreal does well, moves up, maybe wins the cup. I mean, could, right? What happens then to their draft pick that they picked in for 8th? How fair is that to other teams? The team that should have been picking that pick in 8th. I don't know how that works out. So I would say that if they're doing the draft early, they're not doing a playoffs like that, 2014 playoffs. They're not going to do that. They're going to work it out in a different way, because it makes it very unfair for any team after. If a team that's picking, that has a lottery shot, right? It's picking early, and then can make the playoffs. That doesn't make sense. This is what I was talking about when I heard that they're going to do it. It doesn't make sense. There's too many things that I don't understand how they're going to make it work. There's just too many things. I just don't get it. But it's what they're saying they're going to do, so we're going to find out. Thirsty. I know there's no ice. It's only because I forgot to take a bottle out. It's not vodka. Everyone tells me. I'll show you proof. See, I forgot to take a bottle out. There's not enough water in this one. This is all ice. And yep, it's not as thirst quenching either. Although probably better for my vocal cords when it's not as cold. Let me see now. Where was I? Jeff watched a Crosby interview on how the center position has changed, how he has to help down low on defense more now than he ever did. I think you can get a younger, better player for the money, either through a trade or free agents than Tatar. Really have to look at what's out there before you give Tatar a raise, just my opinion. By the way, I like Tatar, but I think he's a second-line player or even a third-liner on a really good team. Oh, I won't disagree with that. Now, I'm not so sure about, or I agree with you on that he's easily replaceable, and only in this way. Tatar really wants to be here. He's really found a role here. He's embraced it, and he's thrived here. I don't know that everybody that you could say that is on par that you could bring in here. I don't know if that happens with everybody. And that's the kind of what's the word I'm looking for now? It's that unknown, intangible thing that I don't know you get with just anybody. And I don't know that you can just write that off and say, well, he's replaceable. I don't know. Not everybody comes to Montreal and fits in the way Tatar has. So I think that really makes a difference, in my opinion. As far as is he a second or even a third-line player on a really good team? Yeah, I think you're right. I think it shows a little bit of how we're not really we lack those elite players. I think he's a second liner, but it shows how we lack those elite players. But I mean, just by having Danault as your first line center, it shows you that. But I do believe we got that guy on the team to replace him. That's Nick Suzuki, and you never know. Maybe in the offseason they find somebody to actually take that spot. Have Suzuki as a second liner, and Tatar and Danault actually where he probably should be as the third line center, but it's hard to say. But Danault is just so good that he can actually get by. You know, I don't want to say barely as your first line, but it's kind of like that. He's a first line center. He's barely good enough to do it as far as being a first line center. He'd be better as a second or a third liner. But I think he's come far enough that you can even say he's probably a second line center. But he's goddamn talented. I don't know that you find a player like Danault that easily either. I don't think so. So you can say there's a lot of guys that have potential to be like that, but Danault is like that. He's young. I think you keep a guy like that. Tatar, if he was 2 years younger, I don't even think anybody be arguing that point because he'd be just entering his prime. But that's not the case. So, it is what it is. But like I said, I don't think you bring in a guy to replace Tatar that fits in the same way Tatar does. You don't know if you see Primo as a starter. Really? Okay, that surprises me. I don't know if you're saying that just to be controversial, because that's pretty controversial. I don't know what you would see him otherwise. Yeah, okay, Wolf, you're right. You're right about that. I don't have any mods in here, so I will take the matter in my own hands. And I will hide this user. His messages shall be hidden. But I'll show Wolf's comment because Wolf Beans, what is it? Beans the third. You're right. Notch STFU. Yeah, he's out of here. I hid his comments. You won't be seeing his comments anymore. I haven't had a troll in here in a long time. Okay, Primo. I don't see what you. I don't know. He'd be a glorified backup. I don't see him as. He'll come in and start as a backup, but he's the future starter, or he's someone's future starter. I don't. I hope he'll be Montreal's, but I definitely see him as a starter. Whoa! I want to finish off Edge's comment. Hang on a sec. He fits in because he is getting the minutes and playing power play and gets our top talent on his line. Someone else could be 82 points. Okay, maybe. But listen, we didn't finish the season. He probably would have hit 70 or really close to 70 anyway. He's not that far off then of somebody who can come in and get 82 points. So, but you're probably right. But I really like Tatar. I don't know that in Montreal you're going to get anybody else right now like that. So for me, he's an untouchable. But remember, when if you're making, excuse me, I'm out of the camera. If you're making these comments based on my video, remember these are my opinions. But you're just as likely to be right as I am. But yeah, that's how I think. But you're right though. The other guys could come in and do the same job and probably get a few more points. But I don't know. I just think Tatar, I don't know if they come in, they might get those points. That's true, but they don't fit in the same way. He's like a Montreal player. He's a natural Montreal player. I don't know. I'm not describing it well, but hopefully you get the idea. Too soon on Primo. Give him 3 or 4 years. I don't know about 3 or 4, but definitely 2. I really would like to see Primo starting in Laval for the next 2 seasons before he's brought up here. I really would like to see them sign somebody to give Primo 2 solid years where unless there's a big injury problem that he doesn't have to be playing games in the NHL. But I don't know about 3, 4, but he's a goalie and it could take that long. But Primo to me is a starter in the NHL. David, Deneau has great chemistry with his line mates. He may not do so well on other lines. Now, this is a lot true. And listen, Gallagher really drives that line. They drives that success. But they're all parts of it. And I think maybe a good argument for why you want to keep all 3 players because they really make a good line together. Like in the old days, the lines that used to stick together, this is a line that would have stuck together for many years. Today, it's kind of, at best, you might have a pair of guys that they throw somebody else on a wing. You get a center and a winger, and then you have a fill-in winger. It's usually a lot of lines are pretty much made up like that. But this is literally a line 1, 2, 3 across that you should keep together, that they have some special chemistry together that really works. I only see Domi bouncing back if he's on a line with like Gallagher and Armia. Gallagher he won't be on line with. I really don't think you break up that first line. I thought he had great chemistry with Covey. The thing that worries me with Kovalchuk is he started out a bang, and then he did start to go downhill. So you got to look at his last 10, I don't know if it's 10 games. His last bit of games, his numbers weren't great. They were dropping. Domi seemed to have some chemistry with Drouin, so I could see them being together, and somebody else on their wing. I mean, or you put, to me, Suzuki. Well, I like Domi in the third center line. I really like Domi on the third line. Anyway, a lot of guys can line up with Domi. But I don't think Gallagher, because I see Domi, if he's going to be center, I don't see him being a top 2 lines, a first or second line center. I see him in the role he was playing when it shut down, third line. Gallagher's not going to be a third line right winger. No, not happening. Armia's different story. Armia could be a third line right winger with him, no problem. And then Lehkonen on the other side. I like that line. Lehkonen, Domi, Armia. Fedge, I like Tatar too. I think, We need guys on the upswing, not at their peak. I keep Tatar around on the second line. Listen, he could be on the second line. Yeah. Listen, if Tatar has to be pushed back to the second line, well, that means you've got improvements, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't worry, Wolf. I'm usually good at deciphering what people write, so I figured it out pretty quickly. Fedge, Matha reminds me of Armia Suzuki Domi if he starts shooting. Really? No, I'm sorry. I thought that was another comment where you had Pacioretty. He reminds you of Pacioretty? I don't know if that's a good thing. I was never a fan of Patch. I can't say that he reminds me of Pacioretty. For me, I don't see that. I like Mantha. I like his game. I think I think he would look good here in Montreal. Plus, he's a Quebec player, which I know you don't want to get players because they're Quebec players. But for me, a guy like that who I would want probably anyway, I think it's kind of a bonus that he's from here. And maybe, and we don't know, maybe he plays here and he gives it that little extra every night because he's from here, a local kid who probably grew up liking the Habs. You know, to me, I see that being something. A lot of people don't think it's anything, but I do. John, CFL season done. CFL might be done if they don't get bailed out. Wolf Beans, it's all about the experience Kovalchuk brings. Yes, I'll agree with you on that. And listen, I want for them signing him, depending on contract length and money. That's going to be important, but I do believe he'll be fantastic in the room. I do believe that. That'd be good. And listen, Romanov's going to be here. Got to help with Romanov, I would have to think. So, Fedge, Armia Suzuki Domi if he starts shooting. You're talking about that's a line, Armia Suzuki Domi? Yeah, I could see that being a line. Switching Armia. Well, the way I look at it, the way you wrote it, I'd have Domi, Suzuki, Armia, because they want Armia on the right, Domi on the left. But yeah. And Domi needs to shoot a little bit more, yeah. I want a French star big time. Yeah, listen, but I want the right, like I don't want a guy just because he's French. No, that's the last thing. It would never be, I wouldn't say, well, Anthony Mantha's French, so I want him. No, I want Anthony Mantha, and it's a big bonus to me that he's French because we don't have French players here in a long time that are that good, and I just think it's a good thing to have. And, you know, I think every hockey city, if they can bring in a guy born in that city and he's a star, I think every team would do that because it helps. It helps community stuff, ticket sales. It all helps. Now, John, you might have said that to be controversial, that I think NHL season is done, but it may be done. It may be done. They may announce that they don't think it can happen. They can't work it out. Too much of the virus problems. I mean, yeah. So I don't know if you're trying to be controversial, but I think that's a point that's fair to put out there is that we're talking a lot about what could be, what we're going to do, blah, blah. The season might never even get finished. We might be talking about next season only. If Marchenko does come with Romanov, how much of an impact do you think both of them will have? Okay, so you didn't see the news. Romanov's not coming here with Marchenko because Marchenko signed a 2-year contract with a KHL team. So Marchenko's not leaving KHL, so that's off the board. Romanov will have, I hope, a pretty decent impact. I think he will definitely start the season on the third pairing, may play all season on the third pairing. So, but I think he'll have a pretty good impact. He's going to be a good player. Wolverine, no problem. And I'm putting you a link to your channel in my description when we're done so that people can click on it and go over and subscribe to your channel. So I'm going to try to get some new subscribers for you to give you more inspiration to do some new videos. It always gives me inspiration if I get a bunch of new subscribers. Bye-bye. Haven't seen you in a bit, buddy. How's it going? Although I see you around. I see your comments around on videos I watch. A couple of different places. It surprised me. I was looking something up on Google, and it showed one of the comments from Twitter, and it was yours on the Google search. So I don't know if you knew that, but you had one of your comments about, I think, about letting in something like that on when I searched for it on Google. Unless there's somebody else going by the name Baybye, it had to be you. I thought we had our big French star. Bergie called Drouin the next great French Canadian player. Hey, listen, he might be, but I think still the what's the term they use? The jury's still out on Drouin. The jury's still out on him. If he comes back whenever they start playing again, if it's to finish the season off or next season, if he comes back and he continues playing like he did in the first 19 games, and he does that basically for the rest of his career, then yes, he could be the next great French player that we have here. But the jury's still out on him. Border jumping is the biggest issue for the NHL. Well, I think they'll give special allowances, or they'll give them special visas to come across for the players and stuff like that. I don't think that's a big problem to work out with government. I would think the government's going to want them to be playing some hockey here as well. So as long as it's safe, and it's only going to be done if it's all safe and it's all agreed upon by all parties, excuse me, and governments as well. USA and provincial borders. Yeah, well, like I said, they'll work stuff out. Kim Ferguson, truth, Kovalchuk is coming back to Montreal. I think it's more likely than it is not likely that he is coming back. Yes, the talk seems to be that he's coming back. The rumors that you hear, he's coming back. But until he signs a contract and they announce that he's coming back, it's still a possibility that he won't. But I agree with you. He's probably coming back here to Montreal next season. Baybye, yeah, I believe you are the only Habs fan called Baybye. Wolverine, that's the kind of stuff you got to do. And, you know, when you do stuff like that, it's going to help you. Listen, it's going to help you pass the time without worrying, without stressing as much. And that's always a benefit. So, yeah, do those things because it'll make you feel a little better just doing that. And just the energy and the time spent working is going to help you feel a little bit better, even if it's for short periods. It's a good thing to do. Kim Ferguson, that was a good trade then. I think it was. I mean, they got a draft pick for him when they signed him as a free agent. So that right there was a good move, and they'll probably get him back. So I think it works out all the way around. Markov retired. Baybye, Markov retired. Baybye still wants Bergie to sign Markov for 10 games to get to 10,000 as a Canadian, but he retired as a hockey player. So I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Kim Ferguson traded him to Washington for a third-round pick. Yeah, we got that draft pick for him, and we can get him back in the offseason again by re-signing him. And it seems like that's what's going to happen. I hate to admit it, but I see the Habs having the same scoring issue all season next year. Well, if they don't do anything to change it, yeah. But that's why I think in the offseason he's going to try to hit a home run by getting some kind of scoring help. Baybye, I'm going to agree with you on that to Wolverine. I really don't know what it's like, but I can imagine, and definitely I can empathize with anybody that has it. That's for sure. A Habs player got COVID-19? No, sorry, Blue Dog. No, one of my subscribers, Wolverine. He's in the room now. Wolverine, he just found out, him and his mother tested positive. Babe Boy, yeah, it's sad, but Markov could have taken the contract that was offered to him that he thought was not enough money. So it's a two-way street. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to have seen him get it, but he didn't. So it is what it is. Okay, so we are down near the end, and I'm at an hour 20. So listen, we're at the end of the comments. I am starting to get tired. You guys can tell. My nighttime meds are kicking in. So we're going to call it a stream. Yeah, retire. They're talking about it. I don't know if Markov, honestly, I don't know if Markov number should be retired. I really don't. There's other numbers to be retired before him. That's for sure. Yeah, Jeff, everyone forgets he turned down the money. It's not that Bergevin did not try to sign him. He turned down the contract that was offered to him. So some of the blame goes to him, and that's why I don't talk about that he should, It is what it is. He didn't, and that's it. But I don't think he gets his number retired. No, not yet. That's for sure. There's guys that deserve it a lot more than him and for way many years longer than him. So, okay, so listen, Wolverine, I hope things are good. Please stay as healthy as you can. Keep me informed. You know where I am to reach me. All my best to you. Seriously, all my best. I'm going to be thinking about you a lot. Sending out positive vibes your way. And to everybody else, I'm going to call it a live stream. My voice is going, as always, at the end. It's almost an hour and a half. And I got to do another, not a live stream, but I'm going to do a live chat with my dad. And haven't had supper yet. So I'm going to call it here. Thanks, everybody, for being here. I really appreciate it. Just want to remind you, because I haven't mentioned anything about Super Chats and all that, but I do have memberships open up now. Haven't gotten anybody in yet, but there's going to be special live streams for the memberships, special videos and all stuff. There's already a members-only video in there. So if you want to consider it, it's the lowest level is just $2 a month, $1.99. Not a lot of money. Not saying everybody has the money to do it, and I totally understand if you can't do it. You don't need to tell me. It's fine. Anybody who can and wants to, you can hit join and go from there. I don't know exactly the steps, but I have memberships open. So if anybody's interested, thanks everybody for being here. I really do appreciate it. I will definitely be back next Thursday. Maybe another day in between, we'll see. But definitely, it seems like Thursday is going to be the day. If I can't do it Thursday, I'm going to do it the day before Wednesday. But I'll put a notice in the community tab and let people know that that's what's happening. So I'll see you for sure next week. See you in the next videos. I really thank you, everybody, for being here. Hope everybody's week coming up is good. Stay safe. Wash your hands a lot. Wear a mask if you can when you go out, and try to stay home as much as you can. Really, seriously, it's very important. I'll try to do Saturday night, Jeff. I know, I realize it. When I get some members in the membership, members are going to have a members-only live stream. I'll probably put this one back to Saturday night and do a weekday for the members. So we're going to do something like that. But I might, depending on how I feel, Saturday's an option, definitely. So thanks, everybody, for being here. Appreciate it. Have great weeks. And take it easy in quarantine or isolation or whatever. Do the best you can. Bye, everybody. Peace out. See you next time.